Welcome to the Meeple Syrup Aftershow, designers discussing design. We're on episode 29, not yet 30, and we are Escape from New York. That's right. It may have took me a minute or two to get the reference, but I do know Escape from New York.
It's a
People, come
cunning
on.
film reference. Come on.
It's a cunning reference, and sorry to anyone who thinks I'm too young that I only know the remake, but that's just too tough luck. I represent the new wave of game designers, and we also have a special friend, really one of the inspirations for the show, J.R. Honeycutt, co-host of the Nerd Nighters. How you doing, J.R.?
Man, I cannot tell you. I am in such a good place today. I am so happy. We just got through announcing the winners of the game design competition. Obviously, you and Sen were a huge part of that. Plus, I've got a game on Kickstarter right now. It is insane, man. It's just crazy.
Excellent. Well, we are going to dive right into that game that JR alluded to, because I am very excited about this. I heard about this a little before Unpub, before it was actually even pitched. And right away, I knew this is a fun game, and it's going to be a great game not only for anyone, but especially for game designers. I look forward to sitting around with people that are just new to design and veterans of design and playing this game together. So why not, while it's on Kickstarter, let's give it a whirl. And no better person to teach it than J.R. Honeycutt himself. So J.R., why don't you teach us your game while it's on Kickstarter? And anyone who likes this game, even if you don't like this game, go support it. You'll fall in love with it when you get it. If you don't fall in love with it now, you will. I guarantee it.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'd be happy to do exactly that. I do have to admit to a little bit of trepidation and or nervousness sitting in front of the absolutely remarkable Scott Nicholson. I got the tingles, man. I'm a little, I don't know. I feel like Nolan Ryan's on the mound and he's throwing heaters.
Don't screw it up.
That's right. Don't screw it up. All right. So, Unpub the card game. Unpub the unpublished published card game is on Kickstarter right now, thanks to Chris Kirkman and Daryl Lauder at Dice Hate Me and Unpub. It's a game by me, J.R. Honeycutt, and one of my very good friends, Doug Lewandowski. It is a game designer's party game, and it's a game where you're pitching games to publishers back and forth, and it's meant to let you think of the wildest, most zany ideas for games, but also to give you kind of a bit of practice in pitching games, getting your 30-second pitch down, naming stuff on the fly, being creative on the fly, and also just coming up with good ideas. So you can think of it as like half like idea generation exercise like you do at a corporate gathering or a game design contest, and then half just way to get, maybe get drunk with your friends and be like, oh, look at this cool game that I came up with, right? I'm going to throw darts at a giant map while I'm blindfolded, and we'll call it Amera Darts. I don't know. Anyways, Unpub the Card Game is a game for 2 to any number of players, really, probably 2 to 10, depending on how many decks you have that you want to shuffle together. Each turn, players will have 5 cards in hand. Every card is notable because it has a mechanic, a component, and a theme on it. Players will take turns using these cards to pitch games to the publisher, just like any other party game you'd see. When a player is chosen by the publisher to have the best game in a round of pitching, that player will take that card. The back of the card looks like little contracts. I don't have any here, but the backs of the cards you can see in the Kickstarter campaign right now look like little contract forms that you would sign, and you collect them as trophies, and the first player to get N number of trophies is the winner, depending on how long you want to carry on these ridiculous shenanigans. So you guys, not you watching, but you in the Hangout right now, you've got a link and you can see the Google document where we have the cards here. Unfortunately, although the Kickstarter has surpassed its funding goal, it hasn't funded yet, so I don't have a prototype here that I can hand you guys, but we're going to use the cards here and play a quick round of it. So, who wants to be the first publisher? Should it be Scott, designer emeritus here? Or do you want to pitch, Scott? It's your choice. Do you want to be the publisher? You want to be the one who makes the decision?
I'll publish.
Yeah.
All right, Scott's going to publish. That's fantastic.
I'll treat you all like my students. You're coming up with ideas, and my job is to shut each of you down.
I'm super good with this, and I'm very excited. This is the cheapest admittance to a Northeast school that I've ever gotten.
Everything is cheaper in Canada up there, so you know.
Our dollar is in your favor.
That's right.
I'm going to get billed $780 per credit hour here. All right, so you guys open up your sheets. Why don't we go ahead and assign Daryl? Why don't you take rows rows 1 through 5? The cards are split up there. Theme, mechanic, component. Dylan takes 6 through 10. Sen, why don't you take 11 through 15? And I'll take 16 through 20. Make sense?
Sure.
So Scott, go ahead and look at that list and just pick either a theme, a mechanic, or a component from anything you see there, and basically just say, hey, I'm a publisher, I'm looking for games that have this in them, and then the rest of us will choose 2 other things that aren't. So if you choose a component, we'll choose a theme and a mechanic, and then we'll pitch you a game. The name, the 30-second elevator pitch, and maybe something we think is special about it, and then you'll pick your favorite. So when you're ready, just grab a thing, and we'll all start looking at our cards.
And should I take something from beyond the level 20?
Whatever you want to. Yeah, beyond level 20 would be great, because it'll be like you don't have those cards in your hand.
Something from down there. All right. All right. We have been analyzing our markets, and we believe that the next big thing, the big thing that's going to be out there in the tabletop game industry, we want people to stick around and play our games, so we're looking for Velcro. We've got all this extra Velcro. We don't know what to do with it, and we think we could use it in a tabletop game. So I'm looking for some pitches of games that center around the component of Velcro.
Well, this is fantastic. Who wants to go first here?
So just to clarify, so we're picking the theme and mechanic from one of our cards. To go
no, from different cards or the same card. So from among the 5 cards you have, just
Okay.
pick a mechanic and a theme. If you use more than one card, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine.
All right.
Who's going?
Ben, you ready?
Sure.
Sounds
All right.
up.
So Scott, what I got for you is a game that is, we're going to use that Velcro because it's a co-op game, and we're going to stick people together in a room where they're going to get dreidels, and they're going to spin these dreidels, and they're going to stave off an alien invasion. So it's kind of like the Jewish XCOM. And they're going to take a lot of Velcro together, and we're going to put everything and stick it all together. So that's what the hook really is, really the hook, because that's actually on Velcro.
Yes,
So
yes,
nice. So we've got a lot of people spinning dreidels, getting those numbers, and applying them to alien invasion pieces on a board, dudes on a map, with Velcro co-op play. That's what it's all about. And I call this game, I don't know what I call it yet.
You already named it.
You already called it Jewish XCOM.
Jewish XCOM.
I feel like I should be flipping a card and saying, but that's not all.
All right, I'll go next. All right, so we got a beautiful game for you, Scott. I know you're looking for something that uses Velcro, and I really want to maximize that component. I want to make sure that that component is the star of this game. So this game, not only does it use hidden roles, but it is of the theme of Kung Fu. And we take hidden roles very seriously. So while playing this hidden role game, you're literally blind. You are hidden, and you cannot see which role you have, but you're going to try to use your Kung Fu moves to peel off the Velcro off of each other and collect the hidden role that you're trying to collect. And we call this game Blind Kung Fu Discovery.
Oh my God, I don't know about that one. I was thinking more of something with, Velcro obviously makes a heck of a lot of sense in today's market. But if you're gonna do Velcro, it's gotta be a legacy game, because it's tough as hell to get this stuff off the Velcro again. And by God, we're gonna do about dinosaurs. We know you like learning, so we're gonna do this as a game about the laws of stratigraphy. We're going to do all sorts of stuff on launching dinosaurs against Velcro sheets and putting a sheet for every single geological epoch. And then as you dig the dinosaurs back down, you're actually going to have to remember which parts of the dinosaurs went with which. I have no idea what the name is, but it's so awesome. It's just completely cleared my mind of all other things that I was thinking about. Dinosaur Legacy Velcro.
And JR, you're up.
Scott, I can tell that you're a man who loves Duck Dynasty. I can just see that by your beard.
And perhaps my upbringing in Oklahoma and Texas?
That's right. So you know what? As a fellow Texan, I understand we have an emotional connection. You and I both really appreciate the beauty, the joy, the majesty that comes in a good deer hunt, right? And a good hunting session with your buddies. So I'm going to pitch a game to you called Deer Blind, okay? And what we're going to use here is the hunting theme, obviously, with your Velcro as a component. I'm sorry, with your Velcro and with the mechanic here, the mechanic is going to be a little bit of deduction, okay? Hunting, deduction with Velcro. This is the way this is going to work. It's called deer blind, all right? And we're going to get one shot, just one visual shot to look at a map of cards. And even the cards, some of them will have Velcro on them, some of them will not, okay? And we're going to have little Velcro stickers. We get one shot to look at it, we close our eyes, and we've got to stick these little Velcro stickers that we have to the Velcro pieces that are on some of the cards. And this is how we're hunting, right? And if we get next to a card and we miss, it goes away. If we hit a card, we get it. This is how we're hunting. And if we miss it, then the deer run away, because obviously deer don't stick around for long enough for us to actually get them, right? So this is deer blind. This is a game of getting 1 second snapshot to stick Velcro to deer, hunting in real time against your buddies. You're all doing it at the same time. This is deer blind. For the Duck Dynasty fans out there who also really love game design.
So is this point where I analyze and choose the winner?
It is, absolutely. Take your time. We'll all do the Jeopardy song.
Oh, I'm just going to yak. So you know, you've given me 4 ideas here, and I've got to figure out which can I pitch to my audience. And you know, we've got some other winners in our field. I have to think about Going, Gone, and Tulip Mania, who's going to follow along with those 2 almost identical games. And as I look to that what I'm going to be able to sell and what I'm going to be able to connect, I'm really torn. I see there's 2 different ideas where we're going to take away people's sight, and both of them are encouraging. And while we have the Duck Dynasty audience, the problem is that, you know, Duck Dynasty's kind of collapsing. It was a hot. If you'd pitched me this a year ago, we could have talked. But now, you know, I mean, the stuff is on, and even though Sai has this great beard that it could actually be like the Velcro on the box. I think that
could be.
Actually, you know, you could have Velcro beards. I think this idea. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Ninja Hidden Rolls game because I perceive the play element, the player experience in that, and the fact to screw with people when they can't see you. All piles in together to something that could actually be quite a hot seller.
Woohoo!
All right, so
Slow clap.
Daryl wins the contract. Scott, you would take the card that you had chosen that thing from, flip it over face down so you can see the contract. Daryl was awarded the contract, and then he is also the next publisher, and then he would start making decisions for that. So
we're going to play at least one more round so that Scott has opportunity here.
Yeah, well, Daryl, you're the next publisher, big dog.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Well,
why don't Scott take cards 21 through 25 on the list?
Okay.
Yep.
well, you know, one mechanic that I always find difficult to really master, and I'm looking for something that really stands out, that really matches, you know, my passions and my interests. So there might be an advantage to people that know me a little better, because I'm really biased to that. But I'm looking for a pickup and delivery game. You know, I really want that mechanic. I'm missing that. What do you got?
Who's first?
Whoever comes up with the first thing.
I don't know.
Pickup and delivery game.
All right, Daryl. All right, I've got one for you. This is a game that's going to use the steampunk theme, the pick up and deliver mechanic, with magnets as the components, okay? Obviously, everybody knows something about the steampunk theme, and that is that nothing works based on electricity. It's all just like weird gadgets and contraptions. It's like the gnomes from Gadgetzan in World of Warcraft, right? And magnets are a huge part of this. Magnetism drives how these things work, okay? So what I'm imagining is a game where you've got these little floating airships, right? Almost like pirate ships that just have balloons instead of sails, and they've all got magnets on the bottom. And you and other players are getting clues as to the whereabouts of certain goods that are actually underneath the map, right? And you have to go, and when you drop your ship on a thing, if it sticks, then you pick something up and put it in your ship. But if it doesn't, then it doesn't. So you're looking for hidden goods based on the magnets in the bottoms of your ship. And you got to go drop them off at the central base where you can turn them in for points, kind of like an acrotiri, for coins to let you get maps to look for more things. That's how this game works. And the name of this game is going to be Maglev, the steampunk ship magnet dropping and shipping and pick up and deliver game by Jackson.
That's a good name.
Thank you.
That might have more words in it than this game is good for.
All right, who's got next?
Beat that, designers.
Well, you know, I like to start with player experiences. And so the player experience that I wish to create for your players is that of competitive tango. That when you're out tango dancing, and one of the challenges is if you're in the ballroom and you have been tangoing with one partner, but you want to change partner, you have to catch the eye of someone else. So this game is called The Look. And it is all about this idea of being in this realm of chaos and delivering the look that will catch the eye of the man or woman that you wish to attract to come and join you at the tango. So the way that we will do this, because as you know, if someone gives you the look, then you know there's something coming out, something shooting out from their eyes that just catches you, that gets you excited. And so the mechanism that we should use for the look, the component, is suction cups. That's right. We're going to mount a suction cup dart on your nose. We give the look to our glossy standing pieces on the board. And the suction cup shoots out. And if it hits your target right between the eyes, you will then be able to reel them in slowly and continue your dance of love. And that is the look.
Nice.
I don't know, there's some stiff competition there, Dylan. What do you got?
That is really rough, because I was thinking of something that, pick up and deliver, it's a well-worn mechanic, so we got to have something to spice it up a little bit. So I was thinking we should go for a very modern, very popular kind of theme, and that's of a wizard school, where you could actually play a game that we might call Quid Fly-Bally game. There's a fly-bally game pitch, and you're attempting to deliver this fly ball all over the fly ball pitch to various places. But the thing is, the entire game is driven by a prediction part of the pick up and deliver mechanic, and that is why we need for components tarot cards. So we're going to be doing a picky-uppy delivery fly-bally thing with a pitch for the picky-uppy fly-bally thing, and we are going to have a tarot card hand that we're all able to influence and therefore have a degree of predictive ability for, but we're going to have to actually predict what we have to drop off at that various part of the fly-bally pitch. And I call the game Fly-Bally game.
All right. So you guys might remember, way back in the late 70s, early 70s, all the way up into the 80s, there's this phenomenon that some people thought was very satanic, and it was Dungeons and Dragons. And so I thought we'd take, a classic genre of role-playing, set it in a fantastical medieval world that nobody's ever done before. I mean, nobody's ever used elves and dwarves before. Come on. And then we would add cups. Yes, that's right, cups. Why? Because you can't pick up and deliver stuff without putting it in cups. So you take your stuff, put it in cups, and then you bring it around with you on the board from place to place. This is a very big board. It's sort of like LARPing meets board gaming. And then you're role-playing, and you're in a medieval costume. You're taking your cup around with you, and I call this Dungeons and Dragon, as in dragon the cup behind you.
Would that be like these cups I have from Going, Gone here?
Nice.
These high-quality, high-plastic cups that you can buy with Going, Gone. That's right.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I will naturally say I was almost tempted to pick the look, but I needed to settle myself and make sure I divided myself away from, was I being mesmerized by the look while the look was being pitched, or was it the game that I was really looking for? But I realized, and it really got me right at the end with the title, but I have to pick Dungeons and Dragon.
Yeah.
Come on. Who doesn't want to LARP with a cup all night long, having a good time?
Isn't that how you LARP normally? Don't you just carry around a cup of beer?
But clearly that's a new component that we haven't thought of. So,
well done,
Sen,
awesome.
I'll sign that game.
Excellent. I'm not sure what to say about that.
All right, guys.
That's cool, JR.
That
You
is
have very good
unpublished
judgment.
published card game.
Awesome. Well, thank you, JR, for letting us play a couple rounds of your fun, fast game, Unpub the Card game that is on Kickstarter for only a few more hours. 2 days
Yeah.
left?
Yeah, it's about 2 days left from here, like 48-hour mark. It's a 72-hour project total. Chris Kirkman and the gang at Dice Hate Me Games / Greater Than Games decided to make it a 3-day project that launched on April Fools to celebrate the meta aspect of these things. The deck building card game, and also Unpub, the unpublished published card game. So you've only got about 2 days left, guys, if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
Or less than that.
How do I get
It
it
is not an
delivered
April
to
Fool's
Canada?
joke.
What's that, Scott?
How do I get it delivered to Canada? I now got to figure this out, especially if I'm moving in June.
You can have it delivered to me, and then I'll deliver it to you.
Yeah.
I see.
Pretty easy. It's
Give me
really
the
easy.
look and I'll walk it to you, man.
Yeah. He'll tango all the way across the border.
Yes.
There you
Someone's
go.
going to bring it in his cup.
I'm gonna drag it behind me in a cup. Excellent. So we had some more questions. Actually, people were flooding the chat with questions before we had to cut them off, and so I think some people had questions about, Scott, your 8. What did you call them?
The 8 types of play.
Oh, the 8
Yes.
types of play?
8 types of
Yeah.
play. Somebody who said, what are they? He talks about it, but what are the 8 types of play?
I can tell you. I actually, as we speak, I have been working on the presentation that I'm going to be using to run my Play Jam. So this was something I did while you guys were busy saying, Kickstarter people are so wonderful, blah, blah, blah. I was busy preparing this so I can actually read them to you right now.
Perfect.
So the 8 types of 8 types of fun that people have, and so you have fantasy. So that's that idea of taking on a role. And actually, this is good practice because this is the first time I'm going to be presenting this in public, so now I get a chance to practice it on you. So you have fantasy, where you want to take on a role. Narrative, where you're interested in telling a story. Challenge, where you're interested in having something that's going to make your life difficult, that you want to have that challenge. Fellowship, where that fun is coming in, engaging with other people. Discovery, where you're figuring out something new, where you're finding something you didn't know before. Expression, where you're getting a chance to express yourself. You're getting a chance to share your feelings or share your expressions. Sensations, where it's something more physical, or it's about like spinning or running or something like that. And submission, which is where you're giving up control, where you're, like Simon says, you're giving that up. And so this was from this article that I posted actually in the last chat, that these are the 8 forms of fun they pushed forward. So what I'm going to do actually at my event is put up pieces of paper around the walls with each of these 8 types of fun, introduce them, tell everyone to get up and find what sort of fun they want to have right now, and then they'll have to make a play jam where they're going to make play inspired by whatever it is they've chosen to stand under.
Very, very cool. So let's talk more about play and fun. JR,
Yep.
what do you think play and fun are? I don't know if you listened to what Scott said, but what is your impression of play and fun?
Well, first off, I think that fun is a little bit like love. If you're worrying yourself about your definition for it, then you're not having it, and you should instead just go have some. I think it's like for sports fans, it's like being in the zone, right? Like, no one could ever tell you that you were not having fun when you were having fun, and no one could ever convince you that you were having fun when you were not having fun. Like, it is a thing that you know to the core of your being. It exists outside language, and it exists outside higher level thought. It's just a thing. You know it when you see it, you feel it, it is what it is. I think if I have to put words to it, for me, fun is just when I'm so in tune with the moment, when I'm so focused and so happy with what I'm doing that I'm not conscious about my experience of a thing, that I am just flowing with it and enjoying it. That is fun for me. Play is a more narrow aspect, right? Like, many things can be fun, right? Like, work can be fun, reading can be fun, many, many things can be fun. But play, to me, is when I'm doing something with, like, the express purpose of having fun, right? Of creating, like, trying to create the physical or the mental space where I can be allowed to have fun doing something that I know is likely to create that feeling for myself, right? Like, I'm going to go play basketball, and I know that I enjoy basketball, and then I'm likely to generate this sense of fun and really enjoy myself doing it. or I'm going to go play Lords of Waterdeep, and I know what this experience is, and because I know that I'm likely going to put myself in a situation where I'm able to enjoy this flow and this aspect of fun that comes from it. So I don't know if that is a useful answer to that question, but that is how I think about it.
Fun is actually a bad word in my game design classes. So the first time someone says fun, I ring a bell. And I say, we are not going to use that word anymore because fun is defined by the player, not by a designer. So when you're playtesting a game, you never say, oh, it's fun, which is the same thing like I use a food analogy. When you've tasted something and you want to tell us how's the food, what you don't say is, it's tasty. But you actually use words to describe the experience. You know, use some of these things we've talked about. But fun is a meaningless word to use when you're talking about these things.
I'm surprised, JR, you didn't get into the difference between you and Ace when it comes to games and play.
So the funny thing is,
low-hanging fruit there, man.
We will both 100% agree on what is fun and what is play, but we will absolutely disagree on what a game is. And I've been admonished enough times by people that are very much my senior with respect to the idea of thinking about what a game is and any of these definitions. Most recently by Eric Lang at Gamma. And Eric was basically like, dude, if you're going to spend time thinking about what a game is and what it isn't, you should just go play a game. Like, stop having the argument and just go play more games and just stop. I was like, and you know, that's like, I have this, because I am a child of the internet, it is really weird for me to not respond when I see anyone anywhere ever say anything that I think might be wrong, to not immediately come up with 100 reasons why they are wrong, right? So instead, I need to just like play a game, right? And if a game isn't fun, or if it isn't play, or if I don't think it's a game, I need to either A, like shift my paradigm so I can enjoy it in a different way, or B, just play a different game and shut up, right? Like,
I think you guys with beards do too much of this.
Well,
I haven't done this the whole episode.
Man, you would too if you had this sexy thing on your face.
Hey,
that's exactly what I'm saying, man. I'm right there.
Throw the beard on. You haven't thrown the beard on yet.
I did for a little while. You guys missed it.
Oh, you gotta throw the beard on.
I saw you. It was a good try.
Some people have cats. Some people have beards. You know.
An after-show beard. That's important.
I don't know. This is a little odd. It feels weird. It's very un-Asian of me to have this beard. To this degree, anyways, right? I mean, I can have the little Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
A little. Okay, so we got a couple last questions.
Yes.
Can you define, Scott, for us exactly what a play jam is?
It's my own thing I'm making up for just this event. So I'm talking about game jams. When I took my pocket definition of game is a game as a form of play with goals and structure. And so when I do a game jam, I talk about that you're making something playful, you're creating goals for that play, and you're adding structure to make it fair. So since I only have 45 minutes to talk about game jams in informal learning, I'm going to say we're going to do a play jam. We're only going to focus on the first part. Come up with something playful. And so that's the idea of the play jam. And it's interesting, kids can make play much faster than adults.
Yes.
With adults, they really struggle to make play. So now this conference is called Counterplay, and so it's all about being playful. But so that's my idea of a play jam, is I'm taking off on the game jam, but we're only going to focus on come up with the playful experience, and then they'll share that experience with other people and reflect upon their feelings.
Oh, that's a good thing. Reflection's always a very powerful thing, especially in this type of environment where we're creating something not just for ourselves, but that other people are going to consume. So I agree that reflection on anything we do is important. Another question quickly from online was, for you, Scott, again, how did you start on board games and why?
So actually, I'll roll that back to talking about Board Games with Scott, because that was actually the earlier beast. So that started 10 years ago on YouTube. Was Board Games with Scott, and I started it because I was teaching classes online and I wanted to get better at using video tools, and I knew that I would only do that if I had something regularly to practice with. And so that's when I started, and the Board Games with Scott. So it was the first YouTube thing about board games, the first regular video series about board games. But really, just because I wanted to get better at not only making videos, but having really depressing times in my basement with me and a camera and nobody else, and running back and forth, trying to set things and move things up, and cursing when the cat jumps and ruins it all, and all that lovely stuff that comes with the lonely, lonely time of making videos by yourself and not having anyone to talk with.
That's why we do this as a team, man. You had a question?
Actually, I want to share a story, and I think I've shared this on the show. I've definitely shared it with Scott a long time ago because it involves Scott. But I remember actually the first time I met Scott was at a gathering of friends, and when
You mean it look, Daryl?
well, this is funny. This is
My legs are jello.
a perfect reaction. It's perfect because I have interviewed celebrities. I've interviewed athletes, Hall of Famers. Been on the MLB Fan Cave. I've been on the red carpet for film festivals. All that. I have never got nervous speaking to someone until I met Scott, and I was nervous to talk to him at the gathering of friends. And Sen thought it was hilarious because I'd be like,
It was really funny.
And Sen would be like, go talk to him. And I'm like, this is weird. I am. Because Scott was very influential in that your videos were the games that taught me games. Like the videos that taught me games. And so it was funny. The first time I met Scott, I purchased a game for my co-designer, Steven Sauer, of Walled City, and I had purchased a German dice game. I forget what it was. It was a little square box. I remember being really nervous, and you just being like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, don't be nervous. I'm just a normal person. And I was just like, yes, of course. I know this in my head, but I was nervous on the spot. So
in his heart, he was feeling.
In my heart. So it was funny, like years back, being nervous on that's my nervous story that I tell people whenever I'm nervous around people. So.
Well, I have, it's weird because fans know a lot about me. I don't know anything about them. When I was at Essen, the one year I went to Essen, this couple came up, and it was a boyfriend-girlfriend, and she was shaking. She was visibly shaking, and the only word she could say was Scott. She could say nothing else. And he said, she's a huge fan of yours. She never said anything other than Scott 3 or 4 times, shook my hand, and ran off.
Hopefully I did a little better than that.
A little bit. The other fun thing that happened, I was in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and I was at a game store. And by the way, if you ever are wandering by in the Netherlands and you're near Utrecht, go there. They have awesome game stores.
As you're Nordic LARPing?
That's right. If you're wandering around doing Nordic LARPing, but Utrecht is amazing for game stores. I was in one of them, and someone came up and said, "Oh, are you Scott Nicholson?" And we started talking, and the shop owner is looking at us cross-eyed because he has no idea who I am, and he's watching as one of his locals is talking to me, this American, about what I'm doing. Why are you in Utrecht? And we're talking, and as I'm getting ready to leave, the game shop owner asks me, he said, "How does he know you?" And I said, "Oh, well, I do these videos on the internet." And I might as well have just said, I stick spam up my nose and entertain people. This was like in 2007, 2008, where this internet thing was still a mystery to many people. And before I walk out, the door opens, and it's a father and a little girl. She's probably about 7, and she looks up to me and says, "Scott!"
That was awesome.
Too funny.
Yeah, so the game shop owner, he had been looking at me like I was telling him about my 18th level wizard. But then, and so it's always cool. I always tried to have a family-friendly show, which was this Scott persona I would put on, which would disappoint people when they meet me in the real world and realize that that's actually just a persona. That's like Mr. Rogers. And so then they get to know me in the real world. It's like, Scott said a dirty word.
It's funny.
Excellent. Well, wow, the time.
Holy cow.
I cannot believe it has flown by. Again, JR, thanks for popping by and introducing us to your game.
I just ordered it.
Oh, somebody just ordered it.
That's right. I just ordered it. I haven't ordered a Kickstarter in months because of this whole move to Canada thing, and I just ordered this. I'm going to deal with whatever it's going to take. So there you go.
Awesome.
Just make sure it gets sent up to us, and we'll
Yeah.
get
I want to get that tattooed on my face, but all I'm going to end up saying is just Scott.
That's right.
Excellent. And Scott, thank you for being on the show. We look forward to when you're up our way. We'll be having you on the show, I'm sure, many times.
I'll be standing right behind you in your room.
They'll be moving your furniture. They'll be moving your furniture.
I call next for that.
Yeah. And Dylan, we will miss you next week, but we look forward to you back on the show in a few. Again, just want to say to everyone, keep making great games. We look forward to trying them, and have a great night.
And thanks to all our Kickstarter supporters.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.